Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. Our mission is to create spiritual connection and bring compassion, discovery, and social justice to life. My name is Catherine Hazel, and I am your service leader this morning. My pronouns are she, her. Could you please take a moment now to silence or turn off your cell phones? Thank you. And also remember to turn them back on after the service. I didn't turn mine back on until Tuesday last week. That created some problems. Let's say hello to everyone attending on Zoom. Look at the frog and wave. And we can see everyone in gallery mode. Whatever your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, whatever your race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, whatever makes you who you are warmly welcome here. In keeping with our Unitarian Universalist aspiration of radical inclusion, we invite you to share your pronouns as well as your name if you are comfortable doing so. We have a diversity of voices on Sunday mornings, so our services vary from week to week. They usually last about 60 to 75 minutes. If this is your first time with us, a very special welcome to you. If you're joining us online, please consider sharing your contact information with us. You can do this by going to the chat icon at the bottom of your screen and typing it in there. We'd love to welcome you to the community. You can go to our website, ufon.ca, which has more detailed information about who we are, the services we offer, and how you can connect with us. We acknowledge today that we meet on the traditional territory of the Snuneymuxw First Nation. As Unitarians, we are committed to the work of reconciliation required to address the harm done to all Indigenous peoples and their cultures by non-Indigenous peoples. We have much to learn from the Indigenous perspective, that the earth is the source of all life, and that our responsibility is to honor and care for it. And now for announcements. The UFON Summer Sunday Circle will take place in the hall on Sundays at our usual time of 11 a.m., beginning June 29th and ending August 31st. Sorry, no Zoom available. You are all invited to join this 10-week drop-in discussion group of pre-scheduled topics, co-facilitated by Rupert Raj and Chris English. Weekly topics will be posted on our UFON Facebook pages. Immediately after each weekly circle ends, some members will walk together to Bowen Park for a picnic lunch. All are welcome. If you only wish to come for the picnic, please make sure to be in the UFON parking lot between 12:45 and 1 p.m. with your individual lunch. See the notice on the board at the back of the hall for more information. And just a reminder, as if we could forget, and I'm wearing my ministerial search committee hat here. There's a special general meeting following the service at 12:30 p.m. to discuss and pass a resolution authorizing the board to enter into a contract with a ministerial candidate recommended by the ministerial search committee. Only members can vote, and it's important that we have a quorum, so be sure to stay after the service and take part. And now I'd like to call on Jane Nares to make an announcement about an important subject, the greeters.
Hi, everyone, I'm Jane. I took over, much you may or may not be aware, I took over coordinating from Diane when, as we all know, she had to stand back. So I'm coordinating the greeters team. We would like to expand that team, and I think this morning was actually a very good example of why we'd like to do that. We'd like to have 2 people on at a time, so that if we have a new person come in, it gives one person time to talk to them, focus on them, and then we've still got somebody at the door. So if you are interested, it's a great way to it's a small chunk of time. And the more people we have, the less frequently we'll have to schedule people. So, and you get a chance to talk to new people and say hello, maybe get to know people a little better. So if you're interested, please come and see me. There will be an announcement in the summer newsletter with both my phone number and my email in it. So please talk to me. We'd like to be able to implement this in the fall. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's now time for the prelude. Let us enter into sacred time. Leah Hokinson, our music director, will lead us into worship through music.
Good morning, everyone. This morning's prelude is I Dreamed of Rain by Jan Garrett. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy, and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the golden stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy, and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and the Father's debts are clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land.
Thank you, Leah, for that beautiful rendition of I Dreamed of Rain. The songwriter, Jan Garrett, lives in the mountains of Colorado. Here's what Jan said about writing this song. It had been a particularly hot, dry year in 2002. It's a while ago. And wildfires were raging across much of the western US. The political scene felt equally troubling and out of control to me. It was as if the whole world was on fire. In the midst of all this unrest, I began to have dreams of rain. With wildfires raging across much of Canada, with global trade upended by US tariffs, with bombs flying in the Middle East this morning, I'm dreaming of rain and hoping the rains come. I'm ready for peace to spread over the land. Maybe you are feeling that way too. Regardless of what or how you are feeling, thank you for being here this morning. Welcome into this place of peace, compassion, and reflection for the next hour. I invite you to relax, inhale deeply, and set aside whatever burdens you are carrying on your heart, in your mind, or within your body and spirit. My garden plants are untroubled by wildfires or world politics, but they may be dreaming of rain. This weekend, we mark the summer solstice, and this is the time when our church year, like the school year, winds down and breaks for summer. Summer Sunday discussions, thanks to Rupert and Christine, will continue, and we thank them for keeping the doors open until we resume our formal services in September. Meanwhile, it's the season for those special things we can only do in the summer. Your summer plans may include all manner of seasonal things: travel, camping, berry picking, reading, gardening, swimming, sailing, beachcombing, or perhaps all of those things. On this first weekend of summer, in the words from our prelude, we dream of summer, and the earth sings, and the green is easy, and the flowers bloom. In that spirit, let's light our chalice. I'll ask Catherine Jane to return to the lectern. The AV team has a slide of our chalice lighting words, which I invite you to speak with her.
Faith in Summer by Ellen Hamilton. In faith together, we light this small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather Sun's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly in these days of deep summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, delighting and nourishing all beings. We bask in the warmth and the heat of these days with lightened hearts and quickened senses, in gratitude and in faith. We are also lighting a candle in honor of National Indigenous Peoples Day, which took place yesterday. This day is a time to celebrate, honor, and support the diverse cultures, traditions, and enduring contributions of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities across Canada.
Please rise in body or in spirit, and we will sing together Everything Grows by Rafi.
Everything grows and grows.
Lost my water glass.
Poor thing.
I've been asked to do just a quick introduction because we have a lot of new people here today. My name's Debbie Goodman, and I'm a longtime member of the fellowship, for those who don't know me. So, as we did with that song, we've sort of entered into our time for all ages. We set aside a time in the service for the young at heart, or any children who are with us. So this is for the child in all of us. We're going to be doing a story in a moment. I want to introduce the story by saying I'm new to gardening. I started late in life, and it's teaching me how everything grows and grows, including a lot of weeds. Gardening is reinforcing some basic life principles for me. Number one, be very patient. Even giant trees begin with a tiny seed. Number two, there are things you can control, like the garden layout and the plants you select, and things you can't control, weather, weeds, and bunny rabbits. And it's essential to know the difference. And three, the principle I least understood or appreciated until now: the most crucial and fundamental things are happening beneath the surface. I'm not just learning to respect what happens beneath, I'm overwhelmed by what happens beneath. I turn over a shovel full of soil and it teems with life. Earthworms, centipedes, beetle larvae, mycelium, root systems, microorganisms, nutrients. When I turn over a shovel full of soil, I'm reminded that if these little creatures and elements vanished, terrestrial life, including us, would soon perish. It's humbling. So thinking about what's beneath the surface is becoming a spiritual practice for me. It's sort of the ultimate land acknowledgement. And I ran across a children's story that explains it better than I can. So I'm going to step aside and dim these front of house lights, and our AV team is going to share a story with you.
Why don't I have a picture?
Beneath. Finn was in a horrible mood. Grandpa wanted to talk about it. Finn did not. No, you won't understand. What if we just go for a walk? Grandpa asked. Please? Finn let out a long sigh. Fine, but I'm staying under here. Don't worry, said Grandpa. I'll remember to think of what's beneath. Grandpa headed for the forest. It's just like when I look at the trees and remember there are parts I can't see. Because beneath what's growing up above is what's growing deep below. Or there, Grandpa pointed. See the boat just sitting out on the water? Finn shrugged. Sometimes beneath what looks perfectly still, so much can be swirling around. Trying to guess what's beneath can be easy, Grandpa whispered. I think she's going to be a mom. Other times, what's beneath is a mystery. I'm not sure what it's digging for. Beneath something solid can be something hollow. Beneath what's falling apart can be what's just starting to form. Beneath what's happening on the outside is what's happening on the inside. Of plants and animals and people? Finn wanted to know. Of course, Grandpa answered. Everyone is more than what you see. Beneath appearances are experiences. Beneath actions are explanations. Beneath what's different is what's the same. And sometimes, Grandpa paused, beneath someone who looks like they won't understand is someone who knows exactly how you feel. Grandpa turned toward home. Finn wanted to keep walking. Please? Together they climbed to the top of the hill. Wow, said Grandpa. Just look at all those stars. Finn looked up at the sky and smiled. Don't worry. I'll remember to think of what's beneath.
We hold you in our arms as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our hearts as you go. Nous vous enterrons d'amour maintenant et toujours. Devant vous soyez paix pour toujours. Cultivant notre ciel jour après jour. Nous vous enterrons d'amour pour toujours.
As a spiritual community, it is our intention to be authentically present to one another, especially in these difficult times. One way we do this is by taking time in the service to listen to the significant personal milestones in our lives. If you have had such a milestone and wish to share it, now is the time to do so. We'll begin with those of you in the hall, and then we'll invite those attending via Our handheld mic is not behaving itself, so I'm reading this here. As I place the final pebble in the water bowl for the joys and concerns that have been left unspoken, I ask that you hold in your heart everything that you have heard and felt.
We share in love, we listen in love, we hold one another in love. Each joy and concern we witness and learn, and grow together in love, and grow together in love.
Our meditation time this morning draws on a concept from Chinese medicine and philosophy known as the bubbling well, continuing our exploration of what lies beneath. So I'd like to invite you to begin by getting comfortable in your chair, relaxing, breathing deeply, letting go of the tension in your body, and closing your eyes or directing your gaze downward, whatever works for you. We'll begin with some words to think about, and then we'll have a few minutes of shared silence, and Leah will bring us out of our meditation time with music. So I invite you to draw your attention to the soles of your feet and feel where they connect with the earth, rooting you to the earth's energy and vitality as you live and grow like a sturdy tree, anchored to that life force. I invite you to picture the sole of your foot and to envision the spot in the center of your foot's sole, just in front of the arch, just behind the ball of your foot. In Tai Chi and in acupuncture, that particular spot is known as the bubbling well or the bubbling spring. This is considered to be the spot where qi, the animating life force, enters the body. On the energetic level of Tai Chi, the bubbling well represents the gate that either permits or inhibits the earth qi from rising up and entering the body. As we enter into silence, I invite you to open that gateway, connect with what is beneath, and receive its goodness. This morning's reflection is about my relationship with my grandfather, whose presence bubbles up in my life from time to time. It's a story told in 3 parts with 2 musical interludes with the choir, and the title is The Bubbling Well. Part 1, Shanghai. Like Finn in this morning's story, I've had times when I wanted to hide under my blanket and stay hidden in my room. And like Finn, I once received an important gift from my grandfather, Paul, during one of those hide under the blanket times, and it brought me peace. But unlike Finn, I never met my grandfather, Paul, because he died in wartime Shanghai in 1946, more than a decade before I was born. Grandpa Paul, who was Jewish, escaped Nazi Germany with his wife and 2 children in spring of 1939 on a steamship bound for Shanghai. They arrived in June of 1939, so 86 years ago this month. It was very warm and steamy. In Shanghai, their little family joined the community of about 20,000 European Jews, excuse me, who fled there as a refuge of last resort and lived in challenging conditions. Most survived, but some succumbed to illness, hunger, or natural causes. Grandpa Paul was one who didn't make it out alive. He died of tuberculosis in 1946. It consoles me that by the time Grandpa Paul died, he knew that the Allies had won World War II in both Europe and the Pacific. There was wreckage all around, but peace could begin spreading over the land. He lived to see U.S. troops enter and occupy Shanghai, establishing relief and food services, and to see his wife and children have access to healthy food and steady work. Grandpa Paul's wife and children did not want to leave his remains in Shanghai, so Paul was cremated, and his ashes returned to the family, who eventually were able to immigrate to the United States. Just a few years ago, I was going through some old family papers and discovered that Paul's cremation happened at a site with a rich cultural and spiritual history. The site was known as the Bubbling Well Cemetery and Crematorium, and it was located in an elegant area of old Shanghai at the end of a street called Bubbling Well Road. The cemetery was established by European settlers in about 1898, but the Bubbling Well, where fresh water emerged from underground, had been around for many centuries. A Buddhist temple was constructed near the Bubbling Well in the year 1216 AD, and it remains the location of one of Shanghai's most important Buddhist temples even today. But during the Cultural Revolution in the 1970s, the entire site, including the Buddhist temple and the freshwater spring, was demolished, paved over, and turned into a plastics factory. Can you imagine that? And yet, like our family's memories, the spirit of the place could not be extinguished by time or historical events. Jing'an Temple has been rebuilt, and it is an oasis in one of the world's largest and densest cities. Over 20 million people live and work in Shanghai, over 30 million if you include the entire metropolitan area. It's a global financial hub, crowded, chaotic, and busy 24/7. Across the street from Jing'an Temple, the former cemetery grounds have been reconfigured into a public park and gardens. It wasn't possible to restore the natural bubbling spring, so a pond and a bubbling fountain were established in the garden to commemorate its history. The garden endures and provides a tranquil place where, in the heart of one of the world's densest urban settings, a person can go to contemplate the past, the present, and the eternal. And in that spirit, we'll have some music. Part 2, Denver. In time, my father settled into a new life in Denver, Colorado, where he married and I was born. Grandpa Paul's ashes rested not far from our home at Denver's Fairmount Cemetery. When my grandmother died, her ashes were placed in the mausoleum niche with him, and I always understood that when my parents passed, they would be cremated and their ashes placed in their own niche at Fairmount. I recall my father's death at this time of year because his life ended at sundown on the summer solstice, June 21st of 1996. He had been declining from cancer, had a stroke on Father's Day, and was transferred to hospice. His passing was a release for him and for our family. It was a hot summer day, but a gentle rain fell in Denver that night. 3 of us had been keeping bedside vigil in the days before my father died. Me, my mother, and my Aunt Joan. Joan was Dad's younger sister who had grown up in Shanghai with him during the war years. We were all grieving and exhausted. Once he passed, Joan needed to return to Houston to take care of her own household, while Mom and I worked on all the arrangements that one deals with when there is a death. At the funeral home, we were presented with a choice of urns for Dad's ashes. They all seemed dreadful. Too shiny, too impersonal, and altogether wrong for Dad. I asked if we could just receive the ashes in a box and take them home until we figured out what we wanted to place them in. There was so much to be done. It seemed like too much. Phone family friends, compose the obituary, pick up multiple copies of the death certificate and take them to various banks and financial institutions, arrange a memorial, try to remember to sleep, try to remember to eat. Many of you know what it's like. One of the strangest things about grieving was watching the way the outside world just continues about its business. It was summer. People were happy. Flowers were blooming. Kids were splashing in the park in the public swimming pools, and families were picnicking outdoors. I felt isolated and bereft. Our house in Denver got pretty warm in the summer, so I went down to the basement one afternoon to cool off, put my feet up, breathe, and think for a bit. The box with Dad's ashes was on a table nearby. I still hadn't found the just right container. Something compelled me to wander into the adjacent room, which was Dad's basement workshop. It was a small, unfinished room with workbench, pegboards, and all manner of tools, nails, and stuff. It smelled like sawdust. Could there be something in here that would be suitable as an urn? Dad was very handy, so the thought of his ashes in a toolbox was kind of intriguing. There were plenty of toolboxes, but the dimensions were wrong. The old coffee cans that held nails were a little too humble. I noticed that there were items stored in the open wooden joists above my head. So I got a flashlight and a stepladder, and I peered into the void. There wasn't much to see. Some rolled up remnants of wallpaper, the ones my folks had used in the kitchen and the upstairs bathroom, some accumulated dust, and there was a metal box I'd never seen before, which I reached for and brought back down to the workbench. If you were here for the goods and services auction recently, you would have seen a case just like it that we used for cash. It's often called the float. Do you know what I mean? It's a metal box, off-white, rectangular, a hinged lid with a handle and a little locking latch. The dimensions looked nearly identical to the box of ashes. I set them next to each other, and everything looked perfect, height, width, and depth. I put the ash box into the cash box, closed the lid, and marveled at the serendipity. Then I phoned Aunt Joan. "Do you know anything about this metal box?" I asked her. It seemed like a ridiculous question to ask, but she had known my dad longer than I had. I described what it looked like and where I found it. "I know that box," Joan said. She proceeded to tell me that it belonged to Grandpa Paul. He was a merchant in Germany, she explained, and took the cash box with him to Shanghai when they fled. The family brought it with them when they came to America, and my dad had kept it tucked away in the rafters. I wondered if she would be okay with me using the box for Dad's ashes. "It's good," she said. "It's come full circle now." Something shifted inside me. It's not that I suddenly stopped grieving the death of a loved one, but I began to remember the good times and the happy times I had shared with my dad. I remembered his patience with me, his soft-spoken manner, his wisdom, and his tenderness. I remembered him telling me about his boyhood in Germany, his coming of age in Shanghai, and about his times with his father. I reconnected to the bubbling well, and the good cheese started flowing again. But the thing I still wonder is, did I find the box, or did the box find me?
What you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Oh, what you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Yeah, what you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Oh, what you seek is seeking you, seeking you. What you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Oh, what you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Come on back now. What you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Oh, what you seek, whoa, is seeking you, seeking you. Oh yeah, what you seek is seeking you, seeking you. Oh, what you seek is seeking you, seeking you.
Words by the poet Rumi, music by Leah Hokinson. Part 3, Nanaimo. As we sang together this morning, everything grows and grows. Gardens do, people do, cities too. The cycle includes decline, death, and reemergence. A pathway of life, energy, and vitality flows through all of that. Call it chi, call it divine providence, call it the bubbling well, or call it the great mystery. Whatever it is, it runs through this church community as well. Our fellowship has existed since the 1950s and experienced cycles of growth, reinvention, expansion, contraction, and transformation over the decades. Today marks a milestone in our journey as we will be having a most important meeting following this service. For more than 3 years, our ministerial search team has engaged in their effort to recruit and evaluate candidates to fill our open position for a new minister. They have worked very hard, and all their work has been beneath the surface. Now a seed is possibly ready to germinate, but a congregational vote is needed to allow the search team to proceed with next steps over the summer. What we seek is seeking us. The ministerial search team has a candidate and is continuing negotiations with that candidate, but we need your vote of affirmation authorizing the board to enter into a contract with that candidate. To that end, please join us in person or on Zoom beginning around 12:30 today for this very important special general meeting. Meanwhile, my wish for all of you this summer is that your way is easy and your path is clear, and that peace spreads over the land. So we'll return to where the service began and sing I Dreamed of Rain together as a congregation. The AV team will share some slides with the lyrics, and Leah will lead us.
I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the garden stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and the Father's debts are clear. Oh, I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land.
We will now have our offering. If you're in the hall, Charlotte Joyner and Sharon Bolt will now pass the baskets for the collection. If this is your first time with us, your presence is your contribution. Those online can go to our website and click the big blue donate button on the homepage and follow the instructions to donate via e-transfer check. And for those of you who don't carry cash, we now accept your donations via debit or credit cards. This can be done at our welcoming table near the entry doors after the service. To help the wider community, half of all anonymous donations received are donated to the designated charity of the month. Our charity for this month is PFLAG Canada Nanaimo. The Nanaimo chapter of this national organization was founded in 2017 and holds monthly peer support meetings for members of the Rainbow community and their parents, families, partners, friends, and allies. If you are making a donation and wish your donation to go to this charity, please indicate PFLAG Canada Nanaimo on your e-transfer or check. If you're donating online or by check and want your donation to go to the charity of the month, you will need to make a note of that on the e-transfer or check. We are grateful for your offering.
Beneath appearances are experiences. Beneath what's going on above is what's going on down below. Beneath what looks still on the surface is everything that's swirling underneath. Beneath what looks like it's falling apart is something that's beginning to come together. Thank you for your presence here this morning and for listening. Thank you to everyone who helped bring this morning together. May your summer be blessed, and may you always be connected to the bubbling well.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We are almost at the end of our service. After we sing Carry the Flame, you can join a social group, both online and in person. Breakout rooms will be available online for 30 minutes. We will have snacks and social time in the hall after the service. And don't forget to attend the special general meeting at 12:30 p.m. I want to thank the many people who have given their time and energy to make today's service, the last one of the church year, so wonderful. The Sunday Services Committee, the audiovisual team, Leah, the greeters and offering collectors, those at the welcoming table, the kitchen volunteers who come early and stay late for cleanup, those who brought food and flowers, and our wonderful presenter, Debbie Goodman, our heartfelt gratitude to you all. We'll now sing our final song, Carry the Flame. The words are on both the back and side walls. Please stand as you are able and hold hands or touch elbows as you feel comfortable.